Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back for another Poetry Thursday, where we have this tradition that was started by Lucas at Bits of Lit, who challenged Brian at Bookish to read poetry in a tag video. And so Brian took that up, and since then it caught fire among BookTube for about a week, and some of us have been valiantly trying to hold on to this and keep it a ongoing tradition, and I am proud to be one of those. I don't read nearly as much poetry as I ought to, as I'd like to, and so any excuse to read poetry is always a good excuse in my books. Over on my Discord channel, I should also mention that I've got a little area there for sharing and talking about poetry on Thursdays. So I'd love to have all of you come and join us there and to chat poetry each and every Thursday and to share some of your favorites, even if you don't want to make a video where you're reading poetry. That's perfectly understandable, acceptable. Not everybody's going to be inclined to get on camera and actually read some of it out loud. But today I wanted to share something a little different. I wanted to share one of my own poems, which is the only poem that will be appearing in A Merchant in Oria and Other Tales, which will be coming out by the end of this month. That is my collection of short stories and stuff, most of which had been previously published elsewhere before in small publications. So this is me bringing them all together into a self-published mantle that I'm putting out for all of you to be able to download, to read, and enjoy. And hopefully you do enjoy them. I could go into details later about why I'm going the self-publishing route, but I don't want to bore you with all those details. Ultimately, I just want these things to be shared and to be read and enjoyed, and beyond that, I don't care so much about getting monetary compensation a whole lot out of it, or becoming big and famous and going on book tours and all of those things. That's not my real purpose. And so today I'm going to be reading for you the poem. It appeared first in this Monsters anthology that was put out by Phoenix Quill, which was a little writing group. Don't know if they're still around, but it was a little Facebook group. And so we had stories that got included into the anthology, and I gave them a poem to go in there. This poem is a pretty long poem. So if you think poem and you're expecting like 10, 20 lines and then it's done, this is far beyond that. This is actually written in Spenserian stanzas. So last week I read some Edmund Spenser and his his Fairy Queen. I had Chaucer on the mind for some reason. His Fairy Queen was written in a Spenserian stanzas, which are 9-line stanzas, which follow a specific pattern in terms of the number of syllables and the rhyme scheme throughout. And so this one features a protagonist that will recur pretty often towards the end of that collection of stories there, and who is also the feature protagonist in my novel, Monster Huntress, which at some point in time will also be getting updated and released to the world, hopefully still in 2021, which will then hopefully inspire me to move on into finally writing book 2 of that series. So we have a poem called Taking Down Goliath, and this is in 3 cantos. I'll probably read most of, if not all of, Canto 1 for you. And you'll have to wait until this gets published to read the rest. Canto 1. She rides across the grassy plains, weary from tough trials conquered the day before. Her cheeks are pale and worn, green eyes bleary and dull. Her fiery hair is matted with gore, proof of her fight with fierce monster, the war, betwixt 2 souls, their fates locked in stalemate. Silver armor once bright and strong is scored, with scars from grip so tightly bound, the weight from dark encounters fierce entwined within her fate. That duel has forced her thoughts to turn inward, toward newfound weakness, to face exposed, monster within, Her mind deemed this absurd, these truths revealed, her sin, hubris, imposed an aim toward her foes. Her heart opposed this new revelation, but found that naught suppressed the thought. Inner turmoil now posed a threat immune to blade. Her mind was wrought, battling this foe untouched by might. Could it be fought? Her state of soul is matched by looks. Her shield, bearing a large amber cross, is battered, its shape deformed. Layers of paint have peeled from steel surface. She wears tunic, tattered and frayed, once vibrant like fresh grass, splattered with blood as black as moonless night. Grimy layers of dust settled on skin, scattered, patches of soot fighting hard to stymie, to mask features beneath that mark strength and beauty. Raised fields of wheat smolder upon all sides, dark smoke spiraling, caught within the air from charred remains. This cloud of haze provides perfect cover to cross the fields, a rare chance for riding concealed. Her mind aware yet blind, her eyes seeing damaged terrain without recognizing meaning. Despair lances throughout her thoughts a surfing rain over her soul, while horse gallops across the plain. Two scouts appear amidst the smoke, blocking the path. They cry out, "Halt!" and draw their blades, seeking answers to why she comes stalking into the heart of fierce war, this crusade between the king and wild monster brigade. "This war against the monster army," said she, "is why I come. My skills may bring some aid. Gladly will I defend my own country, facing peril to serve royal king for a fee." The two men shared a glance so brief, a look of swift debate, before turning to her with frowns on their faces. "You are a crook, turning our plight into profit. A cur comes forth each day to taunt our troops, to stir into action one brave man to combat single, to find the side that wins. Now spur your horse and turn back now. This feud, this spat, our deaths could not bring about. This wise would flee, not chat." Their plea this brave woman ignores. She leads her steed along the road. After riding down the winding trail, she spies the deeds of troops huddled around their tents, biding their time. Dismounting horse, she goes striding among soldiers. Their long faces express absence of hope. They are here hiding in fear. She finds new strength in their duress, coming alive to be hero amidst distress. Gathered within this group of men, the king is found beside an old oak table. Gray eyes are fixed firmly upon a map, seeking strategy wise to save all from demise. His robes are torn, coated with ash, his guise one of deepest lament. He bites cracked lips, uttering words of prayer to seek advice to guide his men safely from their hardship, or bold hero to take control with sponsorship. He starts upon seeing her come, and hope flickers across his face. Her name he asks, looking above. She says, "Why do you mope as though this war is lost? Cast off this mask worn of hopeless despair. Rise to the task, my lord, and lead your men. Be courageous and bold." He sighs and says, "I drown in flask. I shall until some man arrives, gracious enough to fight my foe. None here are audacious." For days I stood, bereft of food and sleep, poring over these maps, lifting prayers, pleading for one hero. Each night I weep for lives now lost and wait for bold slayer of beasts to come at last, he says. Aware the king believes she will accept the fight and thus relieve his men from plight. A snare within her soul has shut. The weight of right will bind her here. No foe will make her flee tonight. And so that is Canto 1. How it continues, you'll have to wait and find out. Again, as the title kind of indicates, it's inspired a little bit by the story of David and Goliath. So you probably saw some echoes of a parallel in that. And the heroine here, her name is Ava. I don't believe she gets named in the poem, but she's definitely named in the couple of stories that will precede this one in the collection, as well in the Monster Huntress book. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you will make your own Poetry Thursday. It doesn't even have to be your own poems, but let's keep this going. Let's make it a big thing on BookTube for every Thursday, because I look forward to watching all those videos in my feed and sharing poems in my Discord and all of the things that go with it on Thursdays. So thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.